come in and dictate to you that doesn't look like you what it is that we have to do. There have been some very, very good recommendations. You got Ms. Baskerville Richardson sitting on the board. She has no power. Look, state takeover meant that at some point the school district goes back to local control. And when I sat there, every year the board had more power. Well, all of a sudden, you have no power whatsoever. How do we allow this? It would not happen in Montclair. It would not happen in Livingston. I don't sound like one of the parents who come to the board meeting who used to beat me up. But there's some truth and integrity in what I'm saying. You know, we can't just let somebody else dictate, but you got to be being about helping kids. And so everything that was said in terms of having parents having high expectations, absolutely. But don't include me. I have a child, but I have no say about what it is that's going to happen to them. So I thought that's what this meeting was. So I sat here and I said I was going to be good. And then the article came out and I said, thank God he brought it out because I wasn't going to bring it out.
No, I think this is a really good discussion because it's really important, as you're saying, that there is a place at the table for people, you know, who have a mindset like the folks at this table. But I think that table needs to be shaken up. It needs to be pounded on, and if at, you know, at best or worst, depending on what you do, it needs to be flipped. Because, you know, school transformation and social transformation is not going to come from above. I don't think any politician sitting in Washington, sitting in Trenton, maybe even certain folks sitting down in Newark City Hall are actually going to do anything to change things in a bold way. You know, and I think what Ms. Baskerville Richardson is talking about, you know, looking at our priorities and reprioritizing certain things is really important. You know, I think we need to think about, you know, the amount of money that goes into the military budget in the United States. I think we need to think about how much corporate welfare gets dispensed in this country. And I think we have to also consider the lack of taxes that rich people are paying in this country. And I think we should start, if you want to have meaningful urban social reform and you need to have comprehensive urban reform. And there has to essentially be a brand new war on poverty. And I would propose this is the first thing that we do. That there's an anti-poverty and a pro-public education policy that was used in Brazil from 2005 on. It's called the family allowance. And basically what this does, it pays parents for their kids going to school, because there's a huge problem in Brazil with poverty and their kids not going to school because they get held home because of work. Ms. Anderson talked last night about the problem of poverty and how kids aren't going into certain schools. So the idea is this, that your child goes to school, child passes classes, family gets paid a certain amount of money. And what this does is it reduces poverty in the short term through direct cash transfers, but it also has a long-term goal, which is to increase the human capital within the student. And it increases the chances for more gainful employment for that student after they graduate from college, or after they graduate from high school and after they graduate from college. This all assumes, obviously, there's jobs out there, which we aren't guaranteed at all. You know, obviously we could already pick the critics saying that this is socialism. We can't have socialism. I mean, this is not a radical idea by any means. You know, this is just a basic idea which all it would take is political will, all it takes is political courage for somebody to stand up to try to change the conversation in a really bold way. And it takes reallocating funds and dedicating ourselves, as King wanted to at the end of his life, to enacting real economic justice today. And I don't think we should be willing to wait for it anymore. And I think that that's how the conversation needs to be changed in a much more bold way. And we have to attack poverty in order to have meaningful student achievement inside the school.